Hello and a very warm welcome to Thursday's edition of The Form. It's a jam-packed show as always. Let's have a little look at what's on the agenda. Bevan Sweeney to kick things off with his best and value bet from Awapuni. We then head to Matt Cross, who talks all things harness racing and in particular Addington harness. Pip Morris then joins us for a preview of the Cambridge Greyhounds, and we wrap up the show with Natalie Young from across the ditch, who's got a big weekend ahead of her with Sierra Sue in the Group 1. Bevan Sweeney joins us on The Form now to talk about the Awapuni Gallops. And Bevan, great to have you with us, and looking forward to that meeting. 9 races, I understand, coming out of Awapuni.
Yeah, very good morning to you, Em. It's transferred from Tauhara Nikea. They'll have an October date now due to resources available from the TAB. So transferred to Awapuni. 9 races on the program, so good strong fields. There has been a little bit of rain around, so the track should be rain affected. They run the short bend this afternoon, which is historically a little bit difficult to make ground on. But yeah, I think 9 races on a Thursday, it's a pretty good program in the Central Districts.
Tell me about your best and value bet. We'll start with the best. Race 2, number 2, I understand.
Yeah, Big Frank, horse by Teofilo for Peter Didden. He's the informed trainer at the present moment in the Central Districts. A horse that showed absolutely nothing at the trials. And all of a sudden, One for Animals, these horses, has just understood what it is to be a racehorse. I thought it was really unlucky last start. It was called 3 Wide the Trip. And it really dug its toes in to go down a short margin behind Platinum Bordeaux. He was green on that occasion. He's learning all the time. Big horse who's going to further furnish, and I think he's in the right race, certainly for mine, to win race number 2.
And then what about a value? What have you got for us that perhaps we can get around on that programme?
There's a very talented horse in Lincoln Raider. Now, this is a horse that we've seen a lot of and has black type already on the pedigree page. Surprised me a fraction. Well, I say that I did see it at the trials and it trialled up nicely, but I still thought its first shape run would have been too short for it. But it ran a slash at around 4th at Hastings, Lincoln Raider. So it's a horse who does probably frank up into a nice race further on in the season. 1400 metres, probably still a little bit short of its best, but look, it's in the right race. A very talented horse for Lisa Latta, whose team is really firing up at the present moment. It'll be short enough, but I still think it'll offer you a little bit of value. The best horse in that race for sure.
The wash-up from Hawke's Bay, another great day of Group 1 action, and wonderful to see Call Sign Mav adding another Group 1 to the resume. But I have to make a special mention to you because a couple of weeks ago on the show, you tipped us a horse that you said was one to follow. And what do you know? It won on Saturday. So we're coming back to the well. What have you got for us, a horse to follow from day 2?
Well, there's possibly a couple, but I think the one that no one missed was in the last race for Guy Larry, called She's a Catch. It was a horse who was the best horse in that particular race. I've got no doubt about that, but the pattern just didn't really suit. From a wide draw, it had to go back. At the 300-metre mark, I was just saying in my head, please get a gap, please get a gap. The gap never came. Emily got pushed back towards the inside, flashed home for 4th in a leader-dominated race. So I don't think many would have missed She's a Catch, and she'll be winning at short notice. We know she's already got black type in her pedigree page on debut at Hastings last season. So she was the obvious. The other was Satu Lagi for Patrick Campbell. That is the long odd shot on the day and got a shave up at the 600-metre mark as the horse came across the mitigator, then was in the trailing position and didn't see clear air until the winner had got off and going and did run second. So I thought that was an excellent return for Satu Lagi. He hadn't been seen for 18 months, so it was a good training effort as well to have him back in that sort of fiddle. But look, if you want one out of the meeting, I think it was She's a Catch, but I don't think many would have missed it anyway.
Well, great stuff. We'll note that one down. Thanks, Bevan, for your time. Enjoy that Awapuni meeting and looking forward to catching up with you soon.
Okay, thank you very much.
Next up on the form is Matt Cross. And Matt, as we join you, Addington meeting to look forward to, and a good card. But I guess the feature is really that race number 5, the Woodland Studs Size Stakes Heat that we're looking forward to.
Yeah, hi Emily, hi everybody. It's a big time of year, particularly for the 3-year-olds, and this is the first time we get to see them all together in a heat, and we've got a really handy field assembled. I guess the two standouts are the Francos, Emily. Franco Indy, who ran home at 54.4 when winning time out, bolted in race rival Casino Action. He has a draw advantage over his stablemate Franco Mack, who might have won last week fresh up, finished fourth, but he still ran the best 400 metres in 55.4. So there's the suggestion there that he's pretty well ready to rock and roll. So between Franco Indy and Franco Mack, and then you add in the Otago visitor, can't find a better man, who's won 3 on the trot in a lesser sort of on Thursday night. I think he's a place option, as is Casino Action, but the All-Stars are back in action. Emily Marpurden and Hayden Cullen. I think one of their two should just about be winning the feature race 5, either Franco Indy or Franco Mack, but it could be a bit of a tactical affair all the same.
And what about your bets on the program as a whole, Matt? What have you singled out for us?
So I've got 3 for you, Emily, without seeing the market. So I thought race number 10 on the party, Dawn Barrier number 1. This was good enough to beat Beach Ball in his most recent start back in May. He actually broke the track record that day, running a 157 mile rate for the 2-year-olds. He's first up. His trials have been good. First trial back was just let find the lines. Second trial, they asked him for a little bit more, and he did look pretty well ready to run. He draws Barrier 1, Blair Orange on, not an overly strong field. Should be able to hold the lead and dictate the race. So race 10, number 1, Republican Party, is an excellent chance. I'll be making him one of the best bets on the program. The other horse that I liked is in race Junior Drivers. Not often I'd label you one in a Junior Drivers race, but off Barrier 1 once again, a horse called Daisy Duke. It's got a 0 in its form line, but it's one of the best zeros you could see. She covered more ground than anything else in its leg and ran the second best last 800 and 55.8. Go back through the horse's form. Ran second to Socrates 2 starts ago. It's gone on to do a good job. Placed again on Friday night. 3 starts back, was only 4.5 lengths away from Deny Everything at Ashburton. He since won 2. Barrier 1 for Daisy Duke. Race number $53. It's an excellent bet. If they put up $5, I suggest you jump on Daisy Duke in race number 4. And one that they might put up a little bit of value around is in the first on the card. Even race for the film 3 on the second row is Stoke to Heather, runner number 12. John Dunn and Craig Keddy will combine. I'm picking bookies will put Mitzi Gaynor up pretty short in this race. She draws off the front row, but Stoke to Heather was as good as Mitzi Gaynor last time out. Did a little bit more work than what she did in the race won by Amore Visa. And if you go back 2 starts ago, finished second, narrowly beaten. 3 the second row, I'd be interested to see how she runs with a little bit of cuddle up in the race. John Dunn factor, a man that's kicking a lot of goals, particularly around Addington, should give you some confidence. So race 1, number 12, Stoke to Heather, is a bit of value. Daisy Duke, race 4, number 1, is one of the best. 10, number 1, Republican Party, looks just about the best on the card, Emily.
Whilst we've got you, Matt, I also wanted to do a recap of last week, and I guess the real talking point was the South Coast Arden, of course, who looks to have returned in so much better order this time in and really developed.
It's always hard, Emily, for the horses coming from their 4-year-old campaign, and then obviously now with the seasons change, it's a latter part of their 4-year-old campaign, but stepping up with the big boys, having to start off the unruly, handled the start okay. Of the bigger races, I don't know that he could win the Cup if he started off the unruly, but he made a mid-race move on a strong enough tempo, went to ride them, and his last 200 metres was that of a really promising stayer. When Natalie Rasmussen pushed the button, he really responded, and you'd be thinking that he will be an improvement fitness-wise off that. He's a big, strong colt, and to sit outside them and win a second favourite for the Cup. The favourite for the Cup, Self Assured, I thought was good in that run. He had a little bit more of a cosy trip, but he did find the line in his sectionals were through the second up, and wouldn't be surprised to see Mark Purdon use him and drive him with a bit more urgency next. He's in front in South Coast Arden, has to sit outside him. I think that the result might be a little bit different. And Pembroke Playboy was his first real go, having to set up a tempo in a strong race. He led up and he went down so bravely. And a couple of good runs in behind it. Robbins Playboy was excellent. The Southerner, his 2 runs back have been very good. But a few races down in the Cup lead-ups, it was probably the most genuine run of them all, Emily. So it's our best guide, I think. And you're right with South Coast Arden. He's really taken that step up. But you can't take anything away from the Cup favourite, Self Assured. Looking forward to seeing what he can do next up.
And also, while we've got you, just before we let you go, a wash-up from Riccarton on Saturday. Have you got a horse to follow for us out of that meeting?
I can give you a stable to follow. Emily, Tony Pike, winner of 5 races on the card there on Saturday. Cosy Sunday doing the riding at the right time of year. And also one first race is a Niagara filly by the name of There You Go. She smashed the clock and did it all on her own from an awkward sort of gate, punched across 1400. They ran 1:22.93 for a 3-year-old filly in the infancy of her career, just second up this time. And she's still got a little bit to learn going by her action up the straight, but gee, I tell you what, in the Thousand Guineas market, she's probably worth a spec just based on the sort of time that she ran. And to the eye, she was brilliant. There you go. So I think that she's certainly worth following and feel stable when he Guineas well. He's got such a big, explosive action, but he looks very economical to go with it as well. And he's another one that's probably going to learn a bit from his first ruck in and duck around when he hit the lead halfway up the straight. I think if he's able to find the rail next time and lead them up, he'll do something similar to what he did at Te Rapa the start before. But those two look fairly exciting from the Tony Pike base as the 3-year-old shape. But if I was taking long range in the 1,000 Guineas, I think off what There You Go did on Saturday, Emily, should be the one at this point.
Good stuff, Matt. Great to have you on the show as always. Thanks for your time and enjoy that Addington meeting later on today.
Yeah, fantastic, Emily. It's a great time of year and fortunate enough that I'm able to cover both codes. So it's a little bit to keep up with, but yeah, it's a really exciting time all the same.
Well, we head off to our greyhound expert here on the form. Pip Morris joins us. We've got the 2 meetings to look forward to, Pip, in the form of Cambridge and Addington. The meeting we want to focus on, however, is Cambridge. And there's actually quite a nice field assembled for a number of these races this evening.
It certainly is. Of course, a twilight meeting, a couple of Central Districts trainers coming down as well, or should say coming up, Emily, including Lisa Coles. You've got the likes of Big Time Cooper and Big Time Kaylee taking on the Fergusons there with Pedro Lee, and a 600-metre race too to highlight on the card. You've got Thrilling Amelia there going up against the likes of Fine Intention and Speed Machine. So plenty to look forward to on the program.
Let's have a chat about your best and value bet. We'll start with the best. Race 9 for you for that top one.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a risk. I've gone for one for Wayne and Tracy Steele. First up for them in the north. It's called Apawa Oliver. Used to race down south with Robin Wales and was racing some really nice dogs over the 520 metres, showing a lot of pace. Starts fresh up at a 375. And to be fair, Emily, there's not a lot of exposed form in that race. So I think if it can show that early pace, should be winning.
And what about a value bet? You noted one down for me, race number 7, number 8.
You certainly have. I've gone for Night Ace. Downgrade, I love a downgrade special. Comes into box number 8. He wasn't far away last time, up a grade, actually off this alley when finishing 4th. And again, not a strong field. I think the main danger's off the ace, Highview Susie. But again, she doesn't like to be there and she's first up on the track. So I'm happy to play Night Ace as the value.
Great stuff, Pip. Awesome to have you on the show and enjoy that Cambridge meeting later on.
Will do. Thanks, Emily.
Well, Natalie Young joins us on the form now to chat through what is going to be a big weekend of racing. Nat, great to have you with us. And last time we spoke to you, Sierra Sue came out and won the Sir Rupert Clark. Hoping we can do the same for you this weekend with Group 1 action again.
That would be lovely to get another Group 1. She's flying. So we've actually just got back about 20 minutes ago from taking her out to the beach. And she was having a little buck when Vicky first got on her. So she's very well.
Tell me about her on Saturday. Obviously, she's nominated to line up in the Toorak handicap. And she comes through that Sir Rupert Clark, and as you said, feeling really well. Do you think she can make it a repeat dose of the Group 1?
Well, look, we've sort of just kept the same sort of programming work-wise to her in between all her races, and it seems to be working with her. She had a really nice piece of work on Saturday, and she worked nice yesterday. So I'm just out to the beach today, and she'll just canter, until Saturday. But in the Rupert Clark, she had that lovely weight of 52.5, and on Saturday she's meeting, like Dice Roll and Thunderstruck with 3.5 kilos more, and that is really going to be the telling point. It's quite a lot of weight for a filly, and it's obviously a very good Group 1, and you've also got Elephant in there as well. So if David gets up and beats her, he won't be getting his dinner cooked for the rest of the time he's here, that's for sure.
I know you mentioned to me before we spoke about the draws being a crucial factor with Sierra Sue. Would there be a change of plans if she did happen to draw out?
Yeah, possibly. There's a race later, the Tristiarch. It's a Group 2. And there's a really good fillies bonus if you win that and then go into the superimpose on the 30th, which was going to be a target after the Toorak anyway. There's $1 million sort of bonus. So that's sort of something that will really weigh up. If you drew sort of, 1 to 7, I think that'd be fine. Look, she did win the Group 1 from barrier 10. But look, she really does need a good gate for Saturday. It'll just help her out that little bit with carrying so much weight.
There's another Group 1 on the card, isn't there, in the form of the Caulfield Guineas, and you've got 3 really live chances. We'll start with the Forgot You. Barrier 16, probably not what you were after.
No, it's a terrible gate for him, to be honest. It's going to be his first time round Caulfield too, but look, he's coming into this Group 1 with 2 wins under his belt. He was brilliant in the Start Stakes. He sort of didn't corner that fantastic, but when he balanced up, he really let down, and he's flying since he's come through it. He looks good. His blood's absolutely perfect. And, hopefully maybe there's a bit of speed inside us that'll help us carry us across. You've got Animo drawn right beside us. It's obviously the one to beat. It's favourite. You got Torius and, it's a good field. So, when you're taking on these 3-year-olds set weights, you kind of need a bit of an alley, and we're not going to get that. So hopefully, Daniel Moore is riding in fantastic form. So hopefully he can just give him a really peach of a ride.
You've obviously proven at the 1600 metres, which is really important too, isn't it? Because you've got that under your belt, and if it does turn out to be a little bit more of a staying event, then you've got that on your side. Yeah, we do. And look, he's probably, the way he raced last start in the Group 2, he probably looks like he's looking for that 2,000 metres. But look, he's a Savabeel colt, and, you always want to have a Guineas winner, to get the value there. But he hasn't done anything wrong leading into it. And, we've got a couple of other nice chances in there too. So he's obviously the best out of the 3. It would have been nice if he did draw in, but it is what it is. So we've just got to carry on, but he's very well. Your other 2 contenders, Zarel is one of those who has a much better draw in barrier 7, beaten over the 1200 metres 2 starts ago, but I thought much more effective at the 14. What did you take away from that run? I thought his race at Flemington last start was super. He had a little bit of a legitimate excuse to start before, and he had 60.5 kilos against his own age group the other day, and that's a lot to carry. And he was really only beaten like 0.3 of a length, and he just had his head was coming up as Ural's horse on the outside was getting the head down. So, but he really run through the line afterwards, which I really like. So, look, I think he's 100 to 1. But look, he loves to be up on speed, so he is one that will hopefully inject that little bit of speed into the race. Because if you go through the field, a lot of them sort of like to sit in behind the speed, and so he might be one that can just have a good, genuine tempo, which is what we're going to need for our other 2 from their gates, because they will end up getting back quite a bit. And speaking of the other one in River Plate, so that you mentioned, another with a less than ideal draw, and you bring that same form through the Start Stakes. What did you make of that last start effort? I thought he went pretty good. He just Ollie switched to the inside, and he come back and blowing up on himself a little bit because he wished he had stayed out. And he just ended up running out of room, and there was nowhere to go. So it was a little bit of bad circumstances, really. But look, he went with Forgot You yesterday on the grass, and they went to the line toe-to-toe. And we've got the blinkers on River Plate, and the feel he gave me yesterday was pretty super. I was quite surprised, He's we thought, we'll roll the dice and put him in the mile 2 in the Guineas because he's a flying arty colt. And, it would be nice to get another Group 1 for Tommy Heppenstall. We know he supports the stable well, and he has done over the years. But look, he's going to go into it great. He was bouncing around this morning. So they'll get their chance if they get that good, genuine tempo on, and they're able to come home over top of them. In obviously what's written in the paper is different to your opinion at home. If you had to pick your best chance out of the 3 horses, how would you separate them or line them up? I think on turn of foot, I think Forgot You's the better horse, but he's going to have to do a lot more work, obviously, from that gate. But River Plate's probably one you don't want to leave out of your quaddie if you're having one. I think he'll really hit the line nicely, and he could be a good place chance. And Zarel is a little bit unknown. Like earlier on, when he won his 2-year-old race second up, he actually beat 3 Kings who went on to win the listed race at Flemington. I actually thought he would be our headliner Guineas horse coming into it. So
He's got plenty of ability, but he just needs a few things to go his way. And he's just starting to really get up and about and look great and stuff in the coat. So, he'll be up on speed, so he'll have everything to his advantage too. So, but out of the three, I obviously forgot you. He's won his last two. He's proven himself already.
There's a couple of others on that Caulfield card that are worth a mention. Impecunious, one of those in the Might and Power over 2,000 metres. I know this horse is nominated on Friday at Cranbourne as well in the Pinka Plate, but tell me about Impecunious and where you might go and what might lead to that decision.
Well, she was on pretty good actually in the stock stakes at the Valley. She was another one that just didn't really have a lot of room down on the inside. And she is she's really crying out for that 2,000 metres, I think. So we'll probably go the Pinka. Like, we're going to run into Zaki and, run to No Illusions. He's a pretty smart horse. So we'd probably try our luck on the Friday night and go there. She's trained there and she gets around that track really nicely. So we'll probably end up heading there. But I think she's a good each way chance. She's just really come on since that run under her belt, and up to that 2,000, I think she's really ready to do something.
And then also in there, the Herbert Power Stakes, you've got one of the stable favourites in Mirage Dancer, and he was flying before the Naturalism, I read in the press, when finishing in fourth. I know you considered the Metrop. What led to sort of not heading there?
He just, he didn't really eat up that flash in the morning, and we had to put him on the float at 6:30 on the Thursday night. And he just had a little bit of a temp spike, and we just thought, look, he's got to travel. It's going to be a 10, 12-hour trip to get up there, and would have been nice to tackle back-to-back Metrops, but as it turned out, the way that race panned out, he would have been caught wide, and I don't think he would have beaten Montefilia anyway. So it's probably a little bit of a blessing. So he's bounced back through that. He worked with Sarah Sue yesterday morning and worked super, actually. So, I think he's flying at this stage, the way he's been going this preparation. He was great in the Naturalism. I thought he could run a place, and he ran fourth. Charlie Rose just got him there on the inside, and I think it was $29 a place. Yeah, so I think it's, if he's gonna go out with a win, it could be maybe on Saturday, and then he might go into the Caulfield Cup, but he's probably not going to be incentivised. That thing's a bit of a freak too, so it would be nice. It would be really good if we can get a nice gate on Saturday and just have him up and behind the speed. But he's bouncing around, and then he goes into quarantine on November the 12th, and he goes off to Ireland to have a date with some hot Irish girls. So yeah, he'll be loving life over there, I think.
Yeah, he will. He doesn't know what's coming. He can't wait for his racing career to wrap up, I'd imagine.
Yeah, no, he will. He'll be very sadly missed, to be honest. He's a beautiful horse to have around the stable. We just took him out to the beach today, and he absolutely loves it. And we're going to be all a little bit heartbroken, I think.
We just mentioned Impecunious in that Pinka Plate, which is Friday night at Cranbourne, and I just wanted to get your thoughts on the other horse you've got in that race, Tai Chi Goddess. What can you tell us about this one?
Yeah, well, she's looking for the 2,000 metres as well. The first up couple of runs, she had a wide gate and just went a little bit too far back. They do quite a bit of work together, and there's not really much between them. Tai Chi Goddess, she's won a Group 3 in Adelaide, I think that was over 2,000 metres. So she's going to present really nicely on Friday night. So there's not much between them. But Impecunious has probably just got that little bit more class about her.
You've got plenty of runners engaged at Cranbourne and Benalla, of course, during the day, Cranbourne at night. Do you have a best for us out of either of those meetings that we can follow?
I actually quite like Al Garouge on Friday. He's sort of been knocking at the door. He's he's a nice Savabeel horse that loves being on speed, and he draws a gate. We sort of wanted to try and get him into one of those, series races that were worth $100,000, but they're really hard to get into at the moment. So we probably end up going there. And Tiani come in this morning, Galagotis' apprentice, and galloped him, and she thought he galloped super, and he went to line really strong. So I think he'll be a really nice chance on Friday.
I was noticing when I was looking at the nominations, track conditions in that heavy range, and even for Caulfield on Saturday, currently soft. Does that affect the chances? What's the forecast for the rest of the week? And is it a real weather watch for Team Busuttin Young?
Yeah, it is a little bit. I don't think it'll worry any of them. Mirage Dancer doesn't like it wet on Saturday at all. It won't worry Sue too much. Forgot use the Savabeel, who'll get through it, and River Plate will get through it, and Zarel won't like it. So it's a little bit of a mixed bunch. But it's 20 degrees here today, but I think we're supposed to get a little bit of rain tonight and tomorrow. But it's hard to tell because it can rain out here at Cranbourne, and we're half an hour from the city, and then they get no rain there. So we'll just have to keep an eye on the watch and see how we go. But Caulfield, it drains so well. it will dry out really quickly unless you get rain on the day, and then you're a little bit affected.
Well, thanks so much for your time. I hope we can bring you luck with another Group 1 win this weekend. We'll be cheering you on from back here in New Zealand.
Great, thanks a lot. I hope so too.
Great news from the TAB. With the removal of credit card deposit fees, they no longer apply. In celebration of this, the TAB are offering a bonus offer. It's available from the week period from the 6th of October to Wednesday the 13th of October. Make a first deposit of $10 or more and receive a $10 bonus bet. You can visit tab.co.nz/no fees for more information. And remember, it's only valid until the 13th of October and only redeemable once per customer. Why not make use of your $10 bonus bet by getting involved in some of the tips from our team this morning? Here's a recap of our best bets. Another show done and dusted. It'll be Aidan Rodley joining you for Friday's edition of The Form. I'll be back with you on Saturday for a big weekend of racing. For now, a very good morning.